Absolutely. What people don't know is there were coup attempts almost every month.
There was what?
You know, yes, there was a coup attempt almost every month, if not several a month,
Oh,
But there
wow.
were varying, yes, there were varying degrees. Some of them were maybe easily killed. Some of them required a little bit more effort. And some of them, like I said, required a home evacuation, where my parents got us out of the house, So, yeah, I wasn't at boarding school yet, so I saw it. My elder siblings were away, so most of the home evacuations, as I call it, I was there with my younger brother. Absolutely, yeah. So I saw it, and each time was like, oh God, is he going to make it? Is he going to come back home? Like the very first one that happened, that required an evacuation, I think, occurred soon after the inauguration. So
Oh,
must have
really?
been, I don't know,
Really?
the inauguration was 24th September. So it must have been maybe late October, in the middle
Really?
of the night, maybe around, yes. And there are all these skirmishes going on. My
Was it by
mother, I
him?
felt,
Was it by him or by different people?
the evidence suggests that if it wasn't him, then was people aligned with him or people that he influenced. There was always, something in the mix. You know,
Okay.
um,
Okay. So let me get this straight. For
okay.
both of us, okay, and I have to admit, when Rawlings came June 1st, I was one of the people who said, finally, this is good. But when he came back December 31st, 1981, he lost me because to some of us, wait, you didn't even give the government a chance to do well or mess up. And that was 2 years. But you are now telling us that immediately after the inauguration, literally a couple of months later, the coup attempt started. And it was almost
Oh,
like a monthly
absolutely.
rainfall.
And they even started even before the inauguration. That's why people ought to read my book, and
Wait,
then because
even
I
before
lay
the
it out.
inauguration, before the inauguration,
Yes.
why?
Mm-hmm.
They came in 3 months, the election was won, and then the inauguration. So how could a coup happen before the inauguration when he hadn't handed over
Well,
power?
well, well, well. You wouldn't call it a coup. You would call it an effort to upset the handing over.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you guys had to deal with this and you would do that and then get up in the morning and still go to school.
Absolutely. I mean, my parents were, like your life must go on. You must. So for example, this first incident, my mother came to wake me up. It was in the middle of the night, so maybe about 1:32. She said, Letitia, so we have to leave the house. I went right back to sleep. She came back again, Letitia, so make answer. Wake up, get up, go and get your little brother. We must leave the house. And then immediately I knew that there was a coup. I know she never said anything, but I knew it because I remembered what had happened before. So I got changed. I went to my little brother. He was asleep. So, I mean, there's quite a big gap. So, I carried him downstairs, went downstairs. The bundled up. Father left, went to do whatever he had to do. And then he came back. He came back for us. He came back for us. We went home, maybe slept for another hour and a half. And yeah, in the morning, life as usual. Went back to school. Nobody ever knew that we had been evacuated the night before. And that was it. And that was it about my parents. Yeah, it's a problem. We resolved it, get back to life. No pity party, no wallowing in misery,
Wow.
move
So
on.
off the top of your head, how many times did you have to face or experience evacuation or false alarm? First of all, there are false alarms, and there were times that you were actually evacuated from the house, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How many times were there actual evacuation? And when you evacuated, usually how long will it take before things calm down when you have to come back to the house?
Well, I can't remember how many, but there were several. I mean,
Okay.
There were several that I became an expert at, packing my, a little girl's little sentimental, a little sentimental stuff, just in case we didn't come back, so my little sentimental stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
2 hours, 3 hours, and then either my father and security will come for us, or my father will send. The main driver that we had been with my father since BRI, so it was a part of the family.
Okay.
Right, Mr. Edmond. Yes, so he would send Mr. Edmond with the security to bring us back home. Yeah.
So did they take you guys whenever there was an evacuation? Did they take you out to the same holding area, or was different?
No. Oh, no. No. It was different every time. You don't go to the same hideout every time.
Okay.
It was different every time, yeah.
Now, if they knew or suspected it was him doing all this, they had the control of the country. Why didn't they tame him?
Well, that is a complex question that, again, I try to lay it out as best as I can in the book. But, there were complexities. First of all, this was a democratic government, with respect for human rights, so then of course you have the other elements, like the military, the civilian, and so there are all these complexities, that they had to address. And I think that for 27 months, for what they had to deal with, the economic issues and the political instability issues, I think they actually did a brilliant job, because for that time, they were able to stifle all the coups. And some had pretty horrific implications if they had been successful. I mean, some of them, they were going to kill all the political leaders, all the top military people. So, I mean, some of it, they were going to instigate a guerrilla warfare, and so they had to, they had to do the best that they could to stop the bloodshed, knowing that we had just come out of, the 1979 issue and problems.